Hello and welcome to the EMEA main stage of Adobe Summit, the Digital Experience Conference. I'm Alvaro Del Pozo, Vice President of International Marketing here at Adobe, and it's an absolute pleasure to see so many people tuning in. Since we came together at this time last year, the global health crisis remains a major concern. While it's been challenging for so many, it's awe-inspiring to see such tireless commitment and incredible medical advances being made across the world. And of course, we all remain hopeful that the end is in sight. I also want to acknowledge the horrific violence and humanitarian crisis currently unfolding in Ukraine. The strength and resilience shown by the people of the Ukraine and the global community coming together in support has been deeply moving, and we're sending our thoughts to all involved. Thank you for joining us today as we kick off the EMEA stream of Adobe Summit. Yesterday, we heard from some of the world's leading brands and organizations and how they've been transforming to provide amazing customer and fan experiences. From Nike to the Red Cross and Real Madrid, we saw how brands across the world and cross-sector are undergoing digital transformations with amazing results. We also heard from Shantanu Narayan, our CEO and Chairman, and Anil Chakravarthy, President of our DX business. They shared some thought-provoking discussions and extremely exciting product innovations that Adobe customers can look forward to applying to their businesses very soon. We'll be sharing more of those updates here today. Just like yesterday, today once again promises to be inspiring and informative. We have some of the world's leading brands, including BMW and Prada, revealing the secrets behind their own digital transformations. And we're very excited to have talks from luminary speakers, including iconic fashion designer Vivienne Westwood and the multi-award winning actor Gillian Anderson. We also have dozens of breakout sessions so you can find specific answers to your particular industry and areas of interest. And we have the always highly anticipated Adobe Sneaks, where we reveal truly cutting-edge innovations and solutions being developed in our own Adobe labs. The overall theme of this year's summit is how brands worldwide can make the digital economy personal. And we're going to be drilling down into that throughout the day. It's likely no surprise that the digital economy is behind the growth of many businesses around the world today. But just how should brands be taking advantage of this massive opportunity? I'll let you into a secret. It's all about the experience. Consumers today won't tolerate anything from brands other than a great experience. Gone are the days of irrelevant, disjointed customer interactions. Instead, brands need to be creating and delivering digital experiences that are completely relevant to the individual and based on the very latest information. These experiences need to be consistent both on and offline. And most importantly, they need to actually provide value to the customer whilst respecting their privacy and preferences. Getting this customer experience right is the vital key to the digital economy. From here on, it's going to be the only way both B2C and B2B brands can command customer loyalty and ultimately drive sustainable business growth. Of course, at the heart of these experiences is personalization. That's the only way to build a lasting relationship with customers. So how to get personal with your customers? Well, the first thing to do is to understand what they want from the interaction, rather than what you want. What we know about today's consumers is that they expect nothing less than seamless and personalized experiences. In our recent trust research study, we found that 2/3 of consumers see personalized experiences as important to trust a brand. But it works both ways. An even greater number, almost 3/4, say that their trust falls when that personalization is poor. Worryingly though, only 14% of business leaders are prioritizing providing a better customer experience. And so it's clear, there's a real opportunity here. Whether you're a marketer or a business leader, you should be making customer experience the top priority and get personalization spot on. And that's how your company can compete in today's saturated market. And it's not just about data. Earning and deepening consumer trust is about living up to the promise of your brand by consistently anticipating need, by being responsive, and by being respectful. It's about being empathetic and being a brand that really knows its customers, by showing you can see things from the consumer's perspective, understand their frustrations, and knowing what's really important to them. Not surprisingly, we also found that brands showing empathy are the ones in the best position to get personal and build trust. And crucially, it's never been so important to pair this empathy with creativity. Yes, a data-driven capability at cloud scale will help you deliver the right message at the right place, at the right time, and at scale. But if you insert something that helps inspire a positive emotion between you and your audience, trusting your brand is even further advanced. So to recap, it's all about trust and personalization. They must go hand in hand. We must protect consumer data, keep it safe, respect privacy and preferences, and show that we're using data to make customer experiences consistent and personal across all channels. And in the digital economy, technology has a pivotal role to play. We must use it responsibly and wisely. We must make this approach a business priority. That means making digital experience truly personal across all touch points and understanding how each touch point is an opportunity to strengthen each consumer relationship and again, build trust. I'm very excited for you all to hear and learn from our stellar lineup of customers and inspiring speakers during the rest of today's broadcast, and how they've achieved their goals with energy, inspiration, and ingenuity. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome our host for today's EMEA main stage, Alex Scott, MBE. A former Arsenal and England professional footballer, Alex is now one of the UK's most admired and well-respected sports pundits and broadcasters. She's joined by Adobe's EMEA Director of Experience Cloud Product Marketing, Jamie Brighton. They will share their highlights from yesterday's incredible opening day and then give you an idea of what to expect from the rest of Summit. Thanks once again for joining us at Adobe Summit on our journey to make the digital economy personal.
Thank you, Alvaro, for that very warm welcome. I'm Alex Scott, a former professional footballer and now TV presenter, and I'm going to be your guide for the next 45 minutes or so as we talk to some truly inspiring individuals and brands from across the world of business, whilst also introducing the very latest Adobe innovations that you can look forward to. But first up, I'm joined by Jamie Brighton, Director of Experience Cloud Product Marketing EMEA at Adobe. Jamie, welcome.
Hi Alex, it's great to be here with you today, and it's my pleasure to talk about the major product announcements that we've made at Summit, while also looking forward to what our EMEA attendees can expect from the event today.
It all sounds good, Jamie, and I know you've got a lot of great speakers lined up today, but perhaps it would be good to start with the pick of the sessions from yesterday's opening day of the Summit.
Absolutely. Well, there's a lot to choose from, but wasn't it amazing to watch Real Madrid's digital transformation story? They're really pushing the boundaries of sports fan engagement and the customer experience in the digital economy.
I love how you've gone straight in with football, but that is definitely something that I've seen more of from football clubs across the world trying to do, attracting new fans that might not necessarily be able to make it to a match, but still want to be engaged and feel like they're a supporter.
Exactly, and that's what Adobe is working hard with Real Madrid to achieve. The reach of Real surpasses that of most entertainment and lifestyle brands, with over 110 million followers on Instagram alone. A huge customer and fan base that stretches across the world.
Yeah, that must be an absolute dream for a marketer, having that many people following your brand.
100%, but often the downside of such a large following is that from the fan or the customer's perspective, they just feel like another number. There's no personal, direct connection to the brand, especially, as you say, if you're not experiencing the excitement of a match day inside the stadium. It's a huge challenge to actually treat each of these fans as individuals, and that's why the Adobe and Real Madrid partnership is so important, working to deliver more personalized experiences over digital channels so these supporters feel cherished and engaged.
Yeah, because that's so important and it's really great stuff. But Jamie, what else impressed you from yesterday? Because there was loads of exciting Adobe product announcements. So can you tell us more about those innovations?
I'd love to. Yesterday, Anil Chakravarti, our Digital Experience Business President, announced a series of new capabilities that make Adobe Experience Cloud the go-to personalization engine for the digital economy. When digital marketing was a relatively new concept, the promise of being able to understand customers' needs and react to them en masse always seemed just out of reach. With advances in artificial intelligence, cloud computing, processing power, personalization at scale is now a reality. And a major milestone for Adobe on this journey was evolving the Experience Cloud applications to be powered by the Adobe Experience Platform. This is our open and extensible enterprise platform that transforms data into real-time unified customer profiles. We've reached that point, and with all their data together in one place, brands can now activate that data to deliver personalized experiences through the Adobe Experience Cloud applications. This is true personalization at scale. Are you still with me, Alex?
No, yep, I'm still here.
Good stuff. So now let's look at some of the specific applications and the new capabilities we launched. In Adobe Real-Time Customer Data Platform, our market-leading customer data platform, this product enables our customers to maximize the value of their customer data and transform how they engage with their audiences. Real-Time CDP is now integrated with Adobe Target, and this enables organizations to tie on and offline customer engagement together, connect it to a profile, and then use that profile to personalize websites and mobile apps. Imagine, if you will, being able to have your interactions in store tied up with the pages that you've looked at and the products that you've looked at on site, and then make sure that you're getting relevant messages and offers. That's the sort of thing that really makes a difference to you as a consumer when you go to a website. So integrations between Real-Time CDP and Adobe Marketo Measure enable B2B companies to predict purchase intention and accurately attribute pipeline and revenue to marketing activities. And integrations with Adobe Commerce allow organizations to do the same for B2B and B2C commerce journeys. Real-time CDP connections makes it easier to collect and enrich and distribute all of the data necessary to drive these activities, and to do it in a low-code way that offers quicker time to value while benefiting from Adobe Experience Platform's Edge network, with the option to also send data to non-Adobe data partners as well. Now, I don't know about you, Alex, but as a consumer, trust and having trust in the brands that I buy from and that I engage with is really crucial these days.
Yeah, it's huge.
Absolutely, yeah. And so for a product that's all about managing customer data, it's absolutely critical. We're enhancing our capabilities in this area, and we've announced a great new partnership with OneTrust to help brands deliver better privacy-conscious experiences, which customers like you and I now expect and demand. I've talked an awful lot about data, but you can't deliver a great customer experience without content velocity across creation, access, and delivery. And that's why we've announced integrations with Adobe Workfront, our application that's the backbone for operational and campaign excellence, with Creative Cloud Enterprise and Adobe Experience Manager Assets, our digital asset management powerhouse. This means creative and marketing teams can work even closer together, making the workflow from idea to content to experience far easier.
Yeah, Jamie, so much information in that, but really important, exciting information that you've just given us. So how are businesses and brands in different industry sectors benefiting from this new technology?
Well, when it comes to personalization at scale, we can dive deeper into exactly what that means for specific industries, and that's what a lot of today's breakout sessions will be covering in more detail. In telecoms and media and entertainment, brands are using this capability to accelerate subscriber growth and retention, for example. For companies in this space, having a single subscriber view means that they can better understand exactly who their customers are and what their preferences are. And they can also use Adobe Experience Cloud to analyze which channels their customers are browsing on, engaging them in the most effective and cost-efficient manner. And this tracking, analysis, and engagement spans the entire customer journey. Brands can connect the dots between the different touchpoints and deliver really compelling omni-channel journeys end to end. It's also extremely important in retail. As part of today's programme, you'll hear from leading European retailer Kaufland about how they've completely overhauled their customer experiences with swifter decisions after making use of the cloud. These are just a few of the dozens of breakout sessions that we're premiering today for our EMEA attendees, where you can hear from Adobe customers and experts about using the technology and how, for example, artificial intelligence is really helping deliver those personalised experiences that customers now demand. Attendees will also be able to chat live and put product questions to those experts, both during the sessions and also during our office hours.
Yeah, that's a great sneak peek at some of the awesome sessions coming up later, and the artificial intelligence aspect sounds very futuristic. Thanks, Jamie.
Well, it's funny you should say that, Alex, because over 80% of our customers are already using this AI technology within Experience Cloud today to drive their customer experiences. And BT Sport, a company I know that you're very familiar with, is using Adobe technology and the power of AI to transform the sports viewing experience.
Jamie, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Now let's turn our attention towards what's to come later during the day. Next up, we've got a chat between Adobe's own Christoph Kohl and BMW's Senior Vice President of Customer and Brand, Dr. Jens Thiemer. And after that, you'll hear from multi-award-winning actor Gillian Anderson, followed by iconic fashion designer Vivienne Westwood. Then we're going to be closing our EMEA main stage with one of our own sessions, a chance to hear from amazing leaders about their own digital transformations. And we are really excited to be joined by none other than the marketing chief of Prada, Lorenzo Bertelli. And with that, let's get going.
We at Adobe believe that digital first is a trend that is here to stay. It becomes even more important when we're talking about premium segments. So premium customers demand premium digital customer experiences. Today I'm here in the BMW world where Dr. Jens Thiemer is actually hosting me to talk about precisely this, digital customer experiences in the premium segment. BMW had its most successful year in history just last year, and that puts them at number 1 of premium car manufacturers worldwide. So big congratulations, Jens, already for that. And the other thing that is fascinating is that you have decided as a company to invest a 3-digit million investment into digital sales and marketing per year. And in 2025, you are ambitious enough to say 25% of your revenue will come through online, through digital. That is fascinating, and I have a bunch of questions to ask you about this. In a company like BMW with so much tradition, it must have been a fascinating decision process to convince all the stakeholders to invest that amount of money into digital. So maybe you can speak a bit about that decision process internally at BMW. Certainly interesting for our audience.
It's not any longer just the car, the premium or the luxury car, which is defining customer experience. It's of course the journey, how you are treated during the purchase phase, during even before the awareness phase, but also during the usage phase of the car. And it all started since a couple of years with used cars. People buy online. For new cars, we also see that especially new players who are entering our markets, they are building digital-first journeys. And of course, for us, it's very, very important that also as a car manufacturer with such a legacy of 100 years or even more, we are building that journey. We are offering that possibility. And I really want to say it's not just the digital surface we are talking about. So it's to make everything digital. That's important.
I could imagine that some people also on decision-making level here at BMW says, I don't need all that digital customer journey. It's about the quality, it's about the design, it's about the engine. Was there a killer argument where you sold them, look, we need to also invest into digital?
There are a lot of customers, as I said, who are ready to purchase cars online. So the number in general studies worldwide is that we are already seeing more than 30% of all car buyers would be ready. I would rather say they are ready to purchase online. But of course, we are seeing that the physical visits at dealerships are significantly going back. People are informing themselves much more than in the past. So we reacted already since a couple of years with the so-called pre-configured cars to make it as easy as possible. So we are also reacting in the offer structure, how to configure the car. So we have to make it as simple as possible, but keep it as individualized as possible. But especially all data points we are getting, we have to make it even faster, we make it more seamless. Also, the feedback we are receiving from our dealers worldwide, from our retail partners. So they are now understanding totally that we have to set on a so-called phygital experience. So building on our common strength in the physical network. So that's very important. We want to keep that. But additionally offer in parallel to that totally digital journeys. So everybody was excited about that. So I think at the end we came to a point where it wasn't so difficult to convince anybody. So especially when we as business walked hand in hand with IT, I think that was now then the final takeoff to share that mission and to go really in that company and to build that journey.
If it is true, and I totally believe the data, that 30% are ready now to buy a car online, that also means that there must be trust. That you also, as a car manufacturer, must have established trust, that customers, consumers trust that buying a car online is safe.
Yeah.
So how important is the, let's call it digital trust, digital trust for you, and what are you doing to establish that?
When you want to gain trust, of course, it starts with transparency and it comes with a big portion of responsibility, of course. And in that context, I think we have to communicate very, very transparently about that. We have to explain why we need the data, what we are doing with the data. Well, it's all, of course, about data security. It's about data privacy. That's the questions people are asking. We are more and more focusing on first-hand data. So that's very clear that our own channels, like the web, like especially the app, so are gaining more and more importance.
It's not only about the purchase, but then I mentioned it earlier, also the after sale.
Oh, yes.
That there are services that you would like to engage customers with. Sometimes you sell, sometimes you have more an engagement where you collect data, and that is also based on trust, right? So how do you continue with that trustful relationship after the purchase?
Trust plays a huge role within the usage phase of the car.
Yes.
So we want to keep the customer loyal, of course. We want to make the customer experience, the usage phase, the post-purchase phase, as exciting and as convincing as possible. So and that, of course, has a lot of things to do with individualized customer dialogues we can offer based on a lot of trustful technology and trustful partners like Adobe. Of course, we are using all possibilities to find out what's the most relevant offer and how to communicate that. And in that context, I think we are now having multiple possibilities. We can use, of course, one-on-one messages, push messages. We can send them in the app. We can send them in the car. And then we are calling that digital late sales or post-purchase sales. So we are having a bunch of digital services, a bunch of so-called functions on demand, or also digital subscription models to make your experience with the car even better. So when you are, for example, planning a trip to the mountains and you don't already have a heated steering wheel, but it's already built in there from the hardware. So we are sending you a message in your car, so you can purchase that option within 40, 50 seconds. There you're ready to go. And I think that's so convincing to make your car experience better. That's building, of course, relationship. That's keeping your car fresh. And that's, of course, not only for new cars. We are seeing, of course, huge potential for those features and functions on demand for used car business as well. Because it's not only about the hardware any longer, it's additionally about the software.
You mentioned we want to have individualized engagements, one-to-one messages. So to do that, to accomplish that, you need to have both the data side under control, understand that, and you also need to then understand what is the right thing to do, which typically sits in marketing and sales, right? Because you know the customer journey best. What is the next step? What does that mean, customer centricity across marketing and IT and sales?
Probably, Christoph, it's the most crucial points how to make it happen. So it's one of the most crucial points. So it starts with a mindset. So if you want to be customer-centric, you have to act and behave customer-centric. It's not just a buzzword. You have to make yourself able to do that. We are going away completely from silos, from those typical vertical thinking and acting things, and also those internal fightings, how to interpret things. So we have end-to-end responsibility in the meantime for the whole customer journey. And we are talking also about that omni-channel experience. So it's for the physical channels and for the digital channels. We're not separating that. And it's also reflected, by the way, in our name. So we are calling ourselves customer and brand, customer first. And of course, as I said, it's also about the relationship of trustful partners in that context. So on that space we created there, we are also having multiple possibilities to integrate partners like you, like Adobe, and work hand in hand with those.
I think that's a perfect ending of our conversation. Thank you very much, Jens. It was a pleasure. And all the best for the future.
Thank you very much, Christoph. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
My name is Gillian Anderson and I am an actor. I wish that there was an easy formula for what made a good film. In this industry, I feel like we're all trying really hard all of the time, but that doesn't mean that what comes out the other end is any good, and it's kind of depressing. But at the same time, it gives one something to reach for. I started acting when I was 12. I think I signed up for an acting class for no particular reason, and eventually was cast in a play and experienced what it feels like to have the audience eating out of the palm of my hand and applause, but also it really felt like I'd found the thing that I could do. It changed everything. It changed my attitude about life, about myself, about my family. It changed my grades. My grades went up, and it answered something inside of me that I didn't even know needed answering. I knew that I wanted to continue to do theatre, but I think my eye was on the prize of film. You know, theatre is terrifying. I'm not one of those people that could do it all the time, go from one theatre project to the next, and it feels like it takes a good decade off my life every time I do a play. But one of the great joys has been living in a space where I can do all three, television, film and theatre. Such a blessing to be able to dip in and out of all three of those mediums, because they're all so completely different. The second role that I did, it was a Terence Davies film called The House of Mirth. I was enamored with his films. It was quite a big deal. And living inside an Edith Wharton novel and getting to do a period piece all at the same time, it was wonderful. Well, the first time I properly did something behind the camera was during The X-Files, when I wrote and directed one of the episodes. And what I didn't take into consideration was that would also mean that I would be on camera all the time. But the biggest lesson that I learned in directing at that moment in time was that I didn't spend enough time trying to figure out what I wanted from the scenes. I knew where I wanted to put the camera, I knew the story I wanted to tell through the lens, but I didn't take time to figure out what I wanted from the actors in each scene, which meant that I was figuring it out on the fly in the moment. And I don't feel like I was a very good actors director, which is ironic and kind of sucks, but that was a big lesson at the time. I think my choice to move to London after the success of The X-Files was multifaceted, and part of it was that, yes, I'd grown up here and it felt very familiar, and I felt that I wanted to, in a sense, return home, but also the level of respect for acting as a craft, it was stronger, or it was taken more seriously maybe than in the States, and the kinds of things that I felt like were in line with my dream, which were Terence Davies films. Those are very different ends of a spectrum, and I felt like that returning to the UK was returning to getting back on track, almost like I'd gone off track. The train had come off the track with The X-Files, and I got back on track when I came here, and the first thing I did was Bleak House, which was for telly, but it was BBC, which is what I was familiar with. I've gotten to a point where I feel like the only thing that I can really have control over and focus on is my work, what I do within the time that I'm on set. And everything else is just completely out of my control. I mean, there are some things that I am producing so that I have more control and more say, but that also doesn't guarantee that, I mean, I could actually have really bad taste and not be very good at it, and who knows, but at least I would feel as if I was less powerless maybe over the end result. I played Margaret Thatcher recently, which I really enjoyed the process, and that was mostly, I think, because, you know, as divisive and complex a character as she was, those are interesting for actors to play, and interesting certainly to watch as an audience. More recently, I played Eleanor Roosevelt in a series about First Ladies. I would have thought going in that Thatcher would have been more challenging, more difficult, but actually Eleanor was, and it was a mixture of, it was the first time that I was working with prosthetics. I used prosthetic teeth, but also she grew up with a mother who told her that she wasn't beautiful. And so she had a certain level of self-doubt and low self-esteem that followed her throughout her entire life. And yet, at the same time, she knew that what she had to say and what she was fighting for was more important than her fear. She just knows that, you know, she trusts that it's important for her to be there. You know, I've played a lot of, you know, quite powerful, sharp, difficult women, and Eleanor isn't that, and so it felt like it was working a different muscle. The character I played most like me is probably Jean Milburn, who I play on Sex Education. She seems to be holding everything together, and then she's not, and everything is really quite chaotic, and she's all over the place, and yet she's also quite present and is trying really, really hard to do the right thing, and yet she often doesn't, and that feels quite accurate. You know, even some of the storylines, even though they appear to be about a sexual hiccup of one kind or another, ultimately the underlying issue is more to do with, you know, with self-esteem or diversity and feeling included, issues that are universal and exemplifies a degree of acceptance that is, again, we also need out there in the world. It seems to bring people together. You know, I was in a restaurant the other day with my teenage boys, and a woman came in, you know, dragging her teenage daughter with her and said, "Thank you so much. Your show has taught my daughter everything about sex. I haven't had to say anything." My sons were mortified, but I think that says quite a lot.
My name is Vivian. I'm a fashion designer, an activist, and an artist. I'd like to stand up. I'd love for them to have a look at my trousers. They really look great. And I have a plan to save the world. I wasn't part of punk. I invented it. Not I, but we. Myself and my partner, Malcolm McLaren. They existed because I made these incredible clothes. The great thing about punk was the look. I'm so proud of that. I invented the hairstyle, and as soon as I'd done that, I got followers. And they also did versions of that hair, drawing spiders on her faces and everything, and dog collar chains round your neck and safety pins and stuff, and paint on your face. And I just think they were incredible. That's what the idea was supposed to be: do it yourself, rip things. Johnny Rotten was the first person to put a safety pin in his ear. That's what he did. I'm going to make myself an ear. But we were already pinning everything together and making holes and ripping it all apart, and yeah. I mean, I stopped the traffic. My slogan is, buy less, choose well, make it last. We don't want landfill. What we have to do is create smaller collections. I tried to use hemp instead of cotton because cotton uses so much water. Anyway, basic things. For my next collection, I'm going to make sure that there is no plastic in the whole collection. I'm going to avoid it completely. For example, the corset, I'm not going to have an elastic side panel in there because that is plastic. It's made with lycra. I choose metal before plastic. What I'm trying to do is to concentrate on quality. I buy expensive fabrics, not cheap ones. And I'm trying to sell clothes at what is their real cost, their true cost. So I'm trying to compensate for the fact that water takes gallons and gallons, to make a pair of jeans. I am campaigning for farms, not factories, because industrialism is killing us, and we have to return to a land-based economy. And I'm very, very keen on working with people who are rewilding at the moment. Keep up with the times. Follow the latest trend. The future will take care of itself. Enjoy it. Liberty, equality, fraternity. You can't be a fashion designer. You can't just sit and draw. You can't teach creativity. You can only teach skills. To know how to get what you're after. When I was a child, it was always reported, this child is creative, and I got gold stars. I felt I was cheating. And what is really, really important is reading matters. You need culture. You can't have innovation unless you've got tradition. When I did my thing, what I did, I didn't need to take clothes apart because I went to the V&A Museum thinking that I would have to have a real look at these designer clothes, start measuring, start trying to make the pattern, how it would be from these clothes, and then try to do it. And lo and behold, of course, you know, we've got theatre, and we've got two very important ladies who did what I'm just saying. They took clothes apart and made the pattern, these historical patterns, and I just got the books with the diagrams in, upscaled them, and found incredible lot of surprises. My next project is I'm actually doing a new collection, and that collection is going to be a business model for the future. I'm going to demonstrate how we can save money and maybe get a hole in that pollution. My clothes always tell a story, and that's why they're sustainable. That's why I don't run out of ideas. My clothes change, they take on different character, but that's because the world changes. I mean, you asked me, how do I keep on going with innovation? That's how. As far as I can remember the kind of person I was as a 4-year-old child, 3-year-old child, I've always been an activist. People trust me as an activist because I never compromise. And I never compromise in anything either. And so they trust me, and that's really important. And they love my fashion because it's good. And I've always worked with activism and fashion together. That's it, really. Yeah, I was a bit nervous, I'll tell you, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Hello everybody. Thank you to Adobe for inviting me to Adobe Summit. I'm Lorenzo Bertelli, CMO for the Prada Group and also head of CSR. Our group is made by 5 luxury brands, Prada of course, Miu Miu, Church's and Cartier, and also our food and beverage brand that is Marchesi. Our group is present in 70 countries with more than 600 stores. I joined the company in 2017 as a head of digital communication and was appointed as head of marketing in 2018. The design of a new group communication strategy has been a priority, focusing on our brand's core identity and remaining loyal to our DNA. At the same time, we build an innovative approach to communicate with our audiences based on the constant dialogue powered by digital technologies, putting the customer always at the center. In 2020, I was also appointed as Group Head of Corporate Social Responsibility. In the last couple of years, we have significantly accelerated on ESG projects with concrete achievement. The Prada Renai initiative, launched by the group in 2019, is an example of one of my first projects in this field. At the end of 2021, the group reached the complete conversion of its nylon production into regenerated nylon. Today, I have the pleasure to host you in our first boutique in Milan, close to Piazza del Duomo, in Galleria, where my great-grandfather started everything in the 1913. I selected this place to underline the group's strong relationship between heritage and innovation spirit. The Prada Group was lagging a bit behind compared to our peer in the past, but in the last 3 years we had a strong acceleration towards our digital goals. The transformation journey required a rapid shift towards a new company digital culture, accelerated by the pandemic and driven by the emergences of a new paradigm in consumer behaviors towards digital experiences. This cultural shift was possible thanks to a big investment in people and of course talent, but also investment in the tech architecture. And because of that, at the end in 2019, we adopted the full stack of Adobe. Our main objective was on consolidating our customer-centric approach, and we did it through 3 key points. The first point was about eliminating the barriers between channels, but also internal process. The second point was about to develop an innovative customer experience. And the third point was about bridging online and offline thanks to a new innovative omnichannel experience. To reach our full potential online sale, we need to invest strongly, first of all, on data, thanks to the AI, and also to adopt a best-of-breed approach. For the Crada Group, human touch is core to elevate customer experience with highly personalized relationship between store, staff, and clients. Use data AI for experience personalization, both online and offline, online through real-time personalization, leveraging Adobe Target, as well offline, through live AI recommendation to personalize client proposal by store staff. We have been able to deliver highly personalized relationship and engagement between store staff and clients to drive loyalty. In 2021, 30% of our sales were influenced by digital-enabled store staff personalized one-to-one interaction and experiences. AI-driven recommendations powered by the group's data lake and personalized on the e-commerce platform with Adobe Target is resulting in plus 50% product engagement versus not personalized recommendations. Our vision for the future is to keep the customer at the center. This is fundamental for us. Engage the customer through all the channels, so physical, of course, digital, but also the new metaverse. It's fundamental for our company to keep developing the organization and the platform, optimizing every day our task and also leveraging on real-time personalization. We are extremely satisfied with the Adobe partnership, which has permitted us to reach the goals we set to be among the luxury players who influence the digital landscape. We will continue to progress on our digital roadmap, always keeping the customer at the center of our strategy, because there is no luxury without personalization. Hi Luke, nice to have you here in Milan in our first store in the world, I would say, from 1913.
So thank you. We feel very special to be here for this recording. So that's awesome and very privileged. So let's get into the first question, and it's about driving change. You have been driving a huge transformation with different work streams, but you are big on making sure that tech is empowering your staff in the store, in particular, to deliver relevant experiences for the customers. Can you tell us about how you have been onboarded your staff into this journey?
Actually, when I joined the company in 2017, I understood quite immediately that we had a long way to go. And for me, it was fundamental to bring on board a lot of new talents and also to a strong, let's say, process of delivering culture and to shift the internal culture of the company toward the digital, also delivering session to our employee. We managed somehow older employer adapted to this new digital mindset, and so we managed to be successful in delivering the actual result.
You know, while we stand here, you feel the heritage of the brand, right? And you have built such an aura around Prada as a global brand. How do you preserve the integrity of your brand when you start engaging digitally with the customers online and probably pretty soon in the metaverse?
The reality is that every generation, every new customer needs to understand again and again. So we need to tell again the story about the brand DNA. In luxury, we can always say go too far from the core of the brand, because otherwise there is that you are perceived not anymore as luxury and you lose a bit your DNA. So it's been very important to, first of all, internally to talk again about what is our DNA, and then thanks to your platform and thanks to your technology, we managed to deliver it successfully to our customer.
So something I'd like to hear you as well. I know it's it's phygital. Phygital is a term that speaks to our audience, but it's a bit clinical, don't you think?
Our job is about bringing human people within our store, talking with other human people. And so I don't like to call it phygital, but we call it human touch. That is about
that's right.
Create relationship and bridges between our store staff and our customer. And then our store staff has to be empowered with your technology.
And any insight on what's going to be the human touch of the future? How do you see the human touch evolve in the next year for Prada and maybe for your industry?
I think it's going to be fundamental to keep the focus on the customer, so the customer has to be always at the center, and to keep developing all the capability of the platform to make sure, let's say, that the customer will perceive and will receive our brand DNA in the right way, but also in a more seamless way, so as smooth as possible experience.
So now it's a good segue to talk about this partnership between Adobe and Prada. We are super proud of it, and thank you again for the years we've been working closely together. Could you expand a little bit for our audience the value you are driving from the Adobe partnership, and maybe also what do you expect from a partner like us?
It's a journey where we have to challenge each other, so we have to challenge. Now we are able to challenge you because we are more mature compared to 3 years ago. Like you have done it 10 years ago with us, so you challenged us and we grow thanks to you, and I think we grow together. So I think it's fundamental for a nice partnership to keep challenge each other and say things clearly, and don't worry, because I think what is successful for us is also successful for you.
Yeah, that's crystal clear, I think, and that's exactly the vision we share on building something, a journey together. And that bilateral exchange is really bringing us forward, so thank you for that. Time flies, it's the last question, so what advice would you give to our audience? We have CROs, CMOs, CDOs, CEOs who are working maybe for organizations that are less mature. What advice would you give them on their journey?
I think if I have to look back to our journey, I would think that if I have to give them a suggestion, is first of all to inform themselves on the landscape, on the venture, on the tech solution. So I think you need quite a lot of culture on digital topics, but then you have to make the right choice in terms of tech choices. That for us has been Adobe. But also I think the key priority is really to invest on talent and people that are able to run, let's say, a nice car. You need the nice driver, the good driver. And so I think it's very important to invest in talent. This is, I would say, is the key priority, and then for sure make the right tech choice. That for us has been Adobe.
And that demystification with a lot of the human touch.
Exactly. And the thing is, at the end, is always about people. Yes.
Absolutely. Lorenzo, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Great discussion.
It's been a
We're looking forward to the next challenge and next step of the journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Luke. It's been a pleasure.
Well, that was pretty incredible. I loved hearing from Gillian and Vivian about their own personal transformations and the work BMW and Prada are doing to bring awesome experiences to their customers. It really makes me very excited to see what buy-in will be like in the future. And with that, we're wrapping up the main stage for this region, but we have so many breakouts and deep dive sessions for you to enjoy throughout the rest of the day, so please do stick around. Next up, we're bringing you some innovation super sessions and breakout sessions, so why not take the chance to hear from our fantastic customers such as Otto and Marks & Spencer with what they've been doing to digitally transform and wow their customers. Later today, we're going to be hosting a live Q&A with some of Adobe's experts, and you can take your chance to ask any questions that you may have, whether on the new product updates or the existing suite. And of course, don't miss out on Adobe's famous sneaks. They're your exclusive chance to see what more the company has coming up for you over the next few months. Wondering what to attend? Luckily, there's still time to sort your schedule for the day. So even if you've not added your favorite sessions to the calendar yet, you can do it right now. So that's it from me, but it's been an absolute pleasure to host the EMEA main stage. And thanks again to Jamie for talking us through all those great updates. And I hope you enjoy the rest of today at Adobe Summit 2022. Goodbye and take care.